welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. Here I am, about 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:36 in the morning on Thursday, September 29th, depending on when you hear this, right? Anyway, I'm recording, got Tropical Storm Ian outside, blowing stuff around and bringing the rain. So for all of you that are in the path of the storm or that were in the path of the storm, hopefully you're all okay. Everybody's safe, all right? Take it easy out there. All right. Before we get started today, and I got a pretty decent episode, you know what to do. Go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, and that notification bell so you know when new episodes of the show come out, and you're always there. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, you know we are there pretty much wherever you get your podcast from. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right there on the screen. If not, go ahead, check your podcast platform. Just type in the Format Podcast. Type in the Format Podcast and give us a search. We should come up. If you enjoy the show, make sure you like it. Make sure you leave a comment, whether it's here on YouTube or on your audio podcast platform, and give us that 5-star review. All that stuff helps us rise up in the algorithm and helps more sports fans find us and helps us find more sports fans. Finally, if you really enjoy the show and you know someone else who might enjoy some good sports talk and out-of-the-box thinking, please go ahead and share it with them. It helps the show grow and keeps me in business here, all right? So let's get right to it. Today, NFL time. Obviously, the NFL is in full gear. We love it. Football, America's #1 sport. NFL by far. College football is behind it, but still NFL by far. Just look at the numbers. Every metric shows it. But anyway, today what are we going to talk about? The importance of coaching, all right? And coaching is different on different levels of football. In high school, X's and O's do matter, but there's a whole lot of rah-rah and a whole lot of basically out-talenting the other team, right? If you are a coach and you don't have the best talent, then X's and O's obviously are going to matter more. Same way it is in college. But in college, if you're with a big program and you can really dominate in recruiting, then you have a much higher chance of winning, right? If you can dominate in recruiting, and let's be real, it all comes down to the money. Always has, especially now with NIL, name, image, and likeness being legal. Basically, you can pay the players. Obviously, it's not the exact same as pay for play, but basically you can pay the players. And we've seen that in terms of your USCs. And anyway, I'm not going to start naming names, but point is, we definitely know just how important recruiting is. And so X's and O's, they make some difference, but basically the real deal is in the recruiting. If you can get the best players, most of the time you're going to win and have a really good opportunity to win a championship. And if you can combine recruiting, that is getting the best players, and then outstanding X's and O's, great scheming, then you've got an even better opportunity. See Nick Saban. Now, NFL level is totally different in terms of coaching. And why am I bringing that up? Because you look at it on the NFL level, you're dealing with grown men. The talent is spread out across the league. So it's not like, say, Alabama playing, Northeastern Cupcake State, right? The disparity in talent in the NFL is not nearly going to be as large. Now, of course, some teams do a better job of adding and stockpiling talent than others in terms of their capology, in terms of their general manager. All that is great, right? But on the whole, the talent is pretty evenly spread out across the league. And we see that in terms of every year flipping from worst to first in terms of teams that win the division and then teams that don't even make the playoffs and first to worst, right? So we know that based on what we see. And the NFL is made that way. It's hard salary cap and everything. So parity is key. It makes the game more exciting. It's better overall. And that's why the NFL is king, right? You look at it, and I'm digressing a little bit, but you look at it and you see Forbes again has named the Dallas Cowboys the most valuable sports franchise on earth. And once more, I was pretty shocked. I always thought it would be a team like Manchester United over in the English Premier Football League. They call it football, we call it soccer. But that's one of the most popular franchises in the world. But they are not valued as much as the Dallas Cowboys, right? And I believe the New York Yankees are more recognizable and more highly valued as well than Man U. But the point I'm trying to make is that is the power of American football. So anyway, getting back to it, right? Coaching on the NFL level, you're dealing with grown men. The talent is more spread out evenly, and it comes down to actually knowing what you're doing and schematics, right? So why am I bringing that up? Because I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and so I've been seeing the Jaguars since I moved here back in 2015, and they've only pretty much had the one good season. I want to say it was 2017, where they went to the AFC Championship game. Everybody was super excited. Tom Brady put a halt to that and won yet another championship. So this is a team and a franchise that's been historically bad for a long period of time. And so everyone got excited, and I said this wasn't going to work, but let me run it back real quick. Everyone got excited before last season when Shad Khan, Jags owner, made a splash hire and hired Urban Meyer, the coaching legend from college. This is the guy who won 2 national championships about an hour from here in Gainesville at the University of Florida. Then he won another national championship with Ohio State University. He's one of the all-time great college football coaches. Or is he? Right? We found out that he's probably not an all-time great X's and O's guys. We know that for a couple of reasons. One, he doesn't really develop quarterbacks because the quarterbacks he sent to the league from college, for the most part, have not had outstanding careers and haven't really been exemplary. We know he doesn't really develop quarterbacks, but what has Urban Meyer done on the collegiate level that's led to all this winning? He has been an outstanding recruiter. So he has done what I said before, getting the best talent and bringing that together and getting those guys in a position to play together and to win at a high level. Totally get it. Now, Shad Khan hires him because he's a legend here in Florida, as I mentioned, having won the 2 championships at University of Florida with the Gators, and it's a splash hire. But what? He comes into the league, and I think he lasted 10 weeks, maybe 11. His time was mired in scandal, right? Mired, get it? His time was mired in scandal, and he eventually got fired even before completing his first season. The players that tell you that it was just a chaotic environment. The X's and O's were not good. The team was terrible. Trevor Lawrence, who most people have regarded as a generational talent at the quarterback position, was not really coached well and didn't have the opportunity to really succeed. Now, with that said, we know often that it takes some time before even a great college quarterback, an all-time great college quarterback, can walk into the league and have success. But certain guys, when they have the tools, a lot of times you see it right away. You look at a Peyton Manning, obviously, when he came into the league, I want to say that was either 96 or 98. The league was a lot different, and I think he threw like 28 interceptions as a rookie, but everyone knew the guy was going to be special, and clearly he's special, right? Top 5 quarterback all time. But with that said, he comes into the league, blah, blah, blah. He does his thing. He has his difficulties, but we knew it was going to be legitimate. Urban Meyer was so bad that we really weren't sure about Trevor Lawrence. Now, I still don't believe he's going to be the generational guy that so many people have talked about. However, Urban Meyer got fired this offseason. The Jaguars bring in who? Doug Peterson, a proven Super Bowl winning championship coach with the Philadelphia Eagles. They bring him in, and I've talked to Trevor Lawrence about this, and he has stated how the culture is so different. It's a different feeling. He loves what Doug Peterson has put in place and how Doug Peterson is helping and allowing these players to succeed and allowing him to succeed. And now we see the Jags, and they look good. They're 2-1 through 3 weeks. They completely shut down the Indianapolis Colts 2 weeks ago, beating them 24-0, and then they go out and beat one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, the LA Chargers. They beat them 38-10 on the road. That's impressive. And what do we attribute this to? Coaching. The NFL is a coaching league, right? With Urban Meyer last year, the Jags were a complete and total tire fire. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Jaguars are going to go to the Super Bowl or they're going to make the playoffs, but right now, they're at the top of their division. Who knows what's going to happen? Obviously, health is always a huge factor in the NFL, but we see what looks to be a totally different team, right? Night and day. Doug Peterson comes in. This guy's a consummate professional. He played the position of quarterback in the NFL. He's been an offensive coordinator for quite some time. Obviously, we know he won a Super Bowl championship as head coach of the Eagles. And this is a guy that's come in and kind of right the ship. And he's got Trevor Lawrence feeling great. He's got the whole team feeling great. He's got them really preparing well and just doing things right and having success. And so you point to it and then you say, this league is about coaching. Now, you look at a team like the Denver Broncos, and haven't had a chance to talk about them yet this season, but I'll get to it. And they've got who most people regard as an all-time great quarterback, probably going to be a Hall of Famer, Russell Wilson. but they've got a first-year head coach, Nathaniel Hackett, right? I believe he was the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator last year. He's got a first-year head coach. He looks totally over his skis, like he can't hack it. Thanks, Rob Parker. And the Broncos are not playing nearly up to their potential, even though this is an offensive league. They've got a great quarterback. They've got great weapons. So, you know, you look at coaching and you say, this is a real thing, right? So you look across the league and you wonder, you can have great talent, but if you don't have the right coaching, it's not going to get it done for you. We saw the Chargers last year with Justin Herbert at quarterback, another guy who people think is going to be an all-timer. Looks pretty good so far. I think they said that he's thrown for more yardage in his first 3 seasons than any quarterback in the history of the game. Now, let's take that with a grain of salt, people, because again, we know that you cannot compare quarterback numbers today with quarterback numbers of the past, because they're simply throwing it so much more, right? Most teams have turned away from any concerted effort to be physical and consistently run the football. So you know that this is a situation where those numbers are not apples to apples in terms of quarterbacks doing things now that they didn't do then, because they're just throwing the ball so much more. So, you know, I would say, like in the NBA, we talk about post-merger, and the NBA probably should even do that again and say maybe post-2005 in terms of how they evaluate numbers. But I guess, you know, but anyway, that's a different story. Yeah, the NFL definitely should look into maybe some way of dividing the errors to give a little more context to the numbers. But all right, that's me going off on a tangent. But regardless, back to Doug Peterson and the Jaguars. You're just seeing what looks to be a totally different team. You're seeing what looks to be a totally different Trevor Lawrence. And who knows how far the Jags can go if they stay healthy. So what I'd like to know from you is your thoughts on this topic. Doug Peterson, how good can the Jags be with him? How important is coaching in the NFL truly? All right. So leave your thoughts, leave your comments in the comment section, and see you next time. I'm out. Peace.